Look, I know it sounds a little bit crazy to say, but could the Dallas Cowboys actually be better off without Dak Prescott under center? And that's what we're going to be answering in today's video. Let's get into it. I get that obviously Prescott is a great QB. He's probably in the top half of the league when healthy. But Dak being great at football just hasn't translated into the type of success that Jerry Jones is looking for out of this team. I mean, everyone knows that Jerry Jones wants a Super Bowl and fast because man doesn't have too much time left. And this is going to be Dak Prescott's 7th season with the squad. And from where they started, I can say they've come a long way since he joined the team. With Prescott being drafted with like the 135th pick in the 4th round of the 2016 draft, he's got quite a story behind him. I mean, the guy was born and raised a Louisiana boy and growing up in Sulphur, LA, playing high school level ball at Houghton High. And from there, Dak went to his rival state in Mississippi State and played 4 years of college ball, and he balled out. I mean, he really turned up in the last 2 years, getting over like 3,000 yards in the air both seasons. And by Dak's senior season at Mississippi State, he was throwing like 29 touchdown passes and winning the Belk Bowl, for anyone who cares. And all of that was enough for Dallas to look his way in the draft, which was great for Prescott, but even better for the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys were god-awful in 2015 with like a record of 4-12, and they ran through like 4 different QBs that season, 2 of them being basically senior citizens in Matt Castle and Tony Romo. Hell, the other 2 guys were Kellen Moore and Brandon Whedon, who combined for like a starting record of 0-5 that season. So it was obvious that there was a gaping hole at that position going into the 2016 offseason, with Romo getting closer and closer to the end. But when the team didn't take a QB in the first round and instead drafted a running back with their 4th pick, Ezekiel Elliott, it looked like they were sticking with Tony Romo for 1 more year. And of course that didn't happen, and Dak was eventually put on the roster, and by week 1, the dude was starting, and he got his career off with a bang. I'm talking fantastic. Because after losing in week 1 versus division rivals New York Giants, Prescott led this team through a strong 11-game winning streak, basically taking out everyone and their moms during that time span. And over the first 3 seasons with Dak at QB, Dallas made the playoffs twice, had a record of 32-16, pretty. But then the Cowboys had a sort of down period, and it's hard for the coaching staff to survive a down period after accomplishing a whole lot of nothing. So after them boys underperformed in 2019, longtime head coach Jason Garrett was relieved of his duties, and former Packer coach Mike McCarthy was hired to take his place, who had just failed in Green Bay. And I assume that this hire was made because Jerry Jones wanted a head coach who'd be more submissive and agreeable, if you know what I mean. And unfortunately for McCarthy in Dallas, Dak Prescott would go down with a presumed cramp, according to Tony Romo, after like 5 weeks in McCarthy's first season. And of course that season would end badly for Dallas since they didn't have a QB for almost the entire year and they ended up like 6-10. But then in 2021, this team seemed to have a whole new sort of resurgence, with Prescott back at full strength and new additions on the defense like Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs. And these guys were good. I'm talking potential Super Bowl contender good. But then the playoffs came around, and the Cowboys did what they do best. And that was disappoint, as they got walked right out of the playoffs in the wildcard round versus the Niners. Which brings us to the 2022 season, where Dak has played for the team for quite some time, and Mike McCarthy has already had a handful of seasons coaching these guys. So it's looking like now or never. But the season looked over before it even started for the Cowboys in 2022, after Dak Prescott broke his finger in a Week 1 loss to the Tampa Bay Bucks. And if I'm being honest, I counted this team out faster than Tom Brady came out of retirement. Speaking of Tom, crazy kind of chose football over Giselle, but it's Tom Brady, so he can do whatever he wants. But if you don't want to lose the love of your life to your passion, then you better like the video and sub to the channel now. Okay, let's get back to it. Where were we? That's right, Dak getting hurt. Well, after Dak got hurt, Dallas had one man they could think of to replace him, and that was Cooper Rush. And if you didn't know who he was 2 months ago, that makes complete sense, because coming into the season, the QB had like a record of 1-0, starting in only 1 game last year. But What he did with his opportunity was amazing. It's the reason this video is even being made. Because over the last 3 weeks, Rush has got this team from 0-1 to 3-1. And it's like this guy just doesn't know how to lose. And probably couldn't lose if he tried. Which is why I think that maybe, just maybe, Dallas could move on from Dak and his contract. Keep Cooper under center for way cheaper. And use the extra money to build an even stronger team. Anyway, that's it for the video. Do I actually believe this? Are you seeing this right now, bro? Anyway, deuces.